Again, this is an adult ventilator, volume, they call it volume cycled mode, volume control. Adults do volume cycle mode, call it. So basically, this is the ventilator. Tidal volume is measured either here or here. In adults, we usually measure here, but then it's not accurate for us because the tubing compliance is high. When the ventilator delivers the flow, it may not reach the baby. And if the baby has stiff lungs, baby won't get this gas. Most of the gas will be in the circuit. That is why we use a smaller circuit, less compliant circuit, so all the gas and pressure goes to the baby. So to know how much actually going out into the baby, you should put a flow sensor here. Whereas in adults, they use it in the ventilator flow sensor. So peak inspiratory pressure leads to compressible volume loss, which means when you compress the gas to a small tube and the gas expands, you don't get that gas going into the baby. You're basically increasing your dead space. And if there are ET tube leaks, then baby also won't get it. And unfortunately, in babies, we don't like to use cuffed endotracheal tubes because the risk of causing damage to the trachea and compliance to the respiratory system. As I mentioned, lung is stiff, baby may not get the pressure. So basically, what is a volume controlled ventilation mode? It is a pressure controlled mode of ventilation with automatic adjustment of the PIP to target a set tidal volume that's set by you at the airway opening, not at the ventilator, but at the airway opening. Again, just like in the pressure control mode, many ventilators operate differently. You need to know, I asked Ursula to tell me what are the ventilators you commonly use in Romania, and there are a number of US in Draeger, Leoni Plus, Maquette, so Servo I. So you need to know, again, your machine. So each one does it differently. Here is Per Cup, they measure at the endotracheal tube or at the ventilator. Draeger measures only at the endotracheal tube, Draeger and BN500, because they calculate based on the amount of gas going in and coming out, they calculate and estimate the tidal volume. So in their volume guarantee mode, okay. Leoni Plus only measures at the endotracheal tube, and you can deliver volume guarantee mode or volume limited mode. And I'll show you what is the difference between volume guarantee versus volume limit or volume control. Here, adjust the PIP to limit the exhale tidal volume. So they use exhale tidal volume. Berker uses inspiratory tidal volume. Servo 300 is flow cycle and with PIP adjustment and inspiratory tidal volume. So you really want to, if you truly want to use volume guarantee mode or volume control mode, you should adjust your exhale tidal volume, not inhale tidal volume. Because inspiratory tidal volume really doesn't get into the baby. There's some leaks around the endotracheal tube. Only if it's 30%, you get 30% less tidal volume delivered. So what is coming out of the baby's lungs through the endotracheal tube is the best way to target your tidal volume. If you're going to set 5 ml per kilo, 5 ml per kilo of exhale tidal volume is the best way to manage babies on volume guarantee mode. Most, Draeger says they can work up to 90% leak. But most of the time, if it is more than 40 or 50% leak, the ventilator doesn't do what it's supposed to do. So you need to either increase the size of the endotracheal tube or switch your mode to pressure control. Here is SLE 5000. It's a hybrid mode. They measure at the endotracheal tube, adjust the inspiratory time to limit the inspiratory volume. Stefani, exhale tidal volume. VIP Bird, it's a hybrid mode. Viasis at the endotracheal tube. So again, as I mentioned, each ventilator does it differently. So know how your ventilator does volume control mode or volume guarantee mode. That way, you really are helping the babies and delivering what you think. So here is the major confusion. Sometimes people get confused. What is different between volume control mode or volume targeted mode and volume guarantee mode? This is the most important slide I want you to remember. Volume control mode, you control the inspiratory tidal volume. Volume guarantee mode, you control the expiratory tidal volume coming out of the baby. Flow sensor, you don't have to have one at the Y, between the endotracheal tube and the circuit, whereas volume guarantee mode, you have to have one at the Y. Tidal volume delivery, same as set tidal volume for every breath in volume control mode, whereas in volume guarantee mode, the pressure is adjusted to get closer to the tidal volume you dialed in. So every breath doesn't get exactly the same tidal volume. But depending on the leaks, the ventilator will adjust the PIP by 3 to 5 centimeters to target the tidal volume that you ordered based on the previous breath. Default flow pattern, constant flow, except in the PRVC mode. Here is decelerating flow. I told you decelerating flow is better. Volume guarantee mode, not available here, available in pressure control or TCPL mode, time cycle pressure limited plus VG, assist control plus VG. Pressure limit you set by the user. Here you don't have to set the P. You just set the Pmax at 30, and then the ventilator will, once it reaches 27, it'll give you an alarm. If it's at 35, it'll alarm when the ventilator has to use 32 centimeters. PIP, usually higher peak pressures are required, that the flow is constant, whereas here you can deliver same tidal volume using lower PIP. So that's the advantage of volume guarantee mode.